sunny day. It's a sunny day.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dead Dad Society. I am your host, Mitch Garling. Welcome to the Society. The Society is in session. Once again, no one here, no one made it. That's all good. Still ordered a sandwich platter, still had it, it was delicious. Alvin, producer, is here. Alvin, how you going?
Yo, I'm good, thank you.
That's good. We've had a pretty serious man-to-man chat about the Paul Blart stuff. You are aware that if I ever come to your house, that it's not to be on the screen, on the TV. I know you do like to watch it quite a fair bit, but we have spoken that it will never be playing while I'm there.
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
You could probably rule that out by just never inviting me over. So that's good. That's good. First off, guys, I just want to say thank you very much for the feedback on the first episode. A lot of people seem to really like it, so that's good. Someone said it was pretty echoey. We haven't fixed that yet. I don't think it's too echoey, but I think it's fine. But we will fix that. We listen to the people, and the people have spoken. It's echoey, guys. But I meant to give a shout out about the intro song as well. The intro song is a song by a rapper called Bigredcap. It's a song called Sunny. It's off his Daywalker album, so you should check it out. He's Sydney based and he's very, very good friend of mine. But yeah, lovely enough to let us use that song. Alvin, lovely enough to cut together the little intro there. Bit of Rex Hunt, bit of Mike Whitney, bit of steak,
Bit of steak, bit of sausage, bit
of beer. A couple of blokes having a beer.
That's it.
That's Dead Dads, if you ask me, right there. But yeah, guys, I don't know why I said that, but thanks so much for telling me that you hate Paul Blart just as much as I do. I was lucky enough. My lady friend at Vinnie's gave me a little call. We've got one. We've got a copy of Paul Blart, Mall Cop, Kevin James says, "Don't mess with his mall," which I just feel like that's not a very good slogan, but anyway, and that felt therapeutic. That felt pretty damn good, to be honest. There was, if anyone doesn't believe me, there was definitely a DVD in there, so what up? Yeah, so thanks very much to the lady at Vinnie's who gave me a call. Let me know that's there. That's gone now, and that makes me feel better. But yeah, what's been going on in my life? Guys, the weight loss stuff. The weight loss stuff's going. It's taken a turn. It's taken a turn. I have been having some rumbles in my tummy. You know the feeling you get when you're hungry. I've been getting that 24/7. So I went to the doctor. I wasn't hungry 24/7. Like I literally would. There's pizza. There's bits of DVD everywhere. But I would literally have dinner, have breakfast, have lunch, whatever meal, and then I'd just be rumbling in my tummy. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor did some tests, and they have told me to stop doing keto. So I have to stop doing the keto diet. Fruit's back on the table, baby. It's back. I can have apples again. I can have pears. I can have bananas. I can have carbs if I want to, but you got to burn them off. But keto's done. So rest in peace, keto. I'll miss you. And look, to be honest, I was kind of getting used to it. Meats are your treats, right? Like I went to see a movie the other night. Went and saw 1917, war movie. If you guys haven't seen it, get along. Like, oh my God, so good. Sam Mendes is a freak of filmmaking. But went and saw it, and actually took a couple of Twiggy sticks into the movies with me. If you guys know Twiggy sticks, they're the little sticks of meat. And I had them for my movie snack. Everyone around me was having popcorn, they're having M&Ms, they're having Maltesers. Not this guy. This guy was having some Twigs. So that's gone. So I can't have meats. In the movies. I can still have meats. I just can't have meats and cheeses and stuff for every snack. So keto is gone. Keto is gone. But the weight loss stuff is still going good. I've been hitting the gym. It's going really good. I'm sitting at 37 kilos lost right now, which is pretty hectic. That's my baby weighs 9 kilos, so that's almost 4 of my baby. So you can tell that I finished high school there by how quickly I figured that out. That's just a little tip. But yeah, my gym's going good. I like my gym. I like my gym manager. He actually plays basketball where I play basketball. And the other day when I got to basketball, he was leaving and he was like, "Oh, where have you been, mate? Where have you been?" And he like totally like gym shamed me in front of all of my friends, because everybody knows that everyone knows that I go to the gym, and everyone knows that that's my gym manager. There's DVD bits everywhere. I regret doing that so violently, but he fully just gym shamed me in front of everyone, and I was like, man, like, come on, you're supposed to be my guy, you know? Like, he's not my personal trainer. Like, personal trainers they say they're your guy, but they're not really. They're your guy. They're your guy at first, but then afterwards they're not your guy. They're someone that fucking screams at you. But he's supposed to be my guy, and he didn't look out for me. He shamed me in front of my brother-in-law. He shamed me in front of my brother-in-law's friends. He just shamed me in front of people that I barely even know. So I don't know if you've ever felt shame, but it's not good to feel it, especially in front of people you don't really know. And but the weight loss, like, I've had a lot of people commenting on the weight loss, which is nice. There's a lady that works at the Woolies, works at the Woolworths near my work, or at my work, and so she sees me every now and then. And the other day, she works in the deli. Did I just say that? Did I say she works in the deli? Or did I say she works at Woolies? I can't remember. But she works in the deli at Woolies at Westfield, where I work, right? And so she is there. She sees me every day, and you know, I was so used to these snacks. I was going and getting, you know, a couple of slices of turkey, a couple of slices of ham, a couple of slices of Chinese pork, whatever. And I went up and got some Chinese pork the other day, and she said, she was like, "Oh, can I ask you something?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, have you been like losing weight?" And I was like, yeah, I have. And she's like, "Oh, good, because you were coming in, and I thought, like, you're very plump. I thought you were very plump, but now you're not plump. Now you look really good." And I was like, "Thank you." And that would be the second person in my life that has revealed to me just how worried they were about my fatness or my plumpness after the fact that I'd lost weight. Like, where am I going? Like, where's my team? Where's my team? When I've lost the weight, don't be like, "Man, you were so fat. I was so worried." But not anymore. Now you're not as fat, and I've got less worry. Like, pardon me. It's crazy. But yeah, also I really appreciated the use of the word plump. I thought that was really good in 2020. Good to see that plump is making a return. But yeah, so that's my life. Just people telling me I'm plump, and I was plump. But yeah, the weight loss stuff's going really good. Yeah, life is pretty good at the moment. Little bub is good. I went to a show the other night. Went and saw Tom Segura, American comedian. If you are listening to my podcast right now, you have 100% listened to his podcast before, Your Mum's House, and seen him on Netflix. Absolute killer. So funny. You guys should go and check that out. I don't really have anything to say about that apart from the fact that it was a bloody good show. And Tommy finally came to Australia. He's cancelled a couple of times, but he finally came, so that's good. But yeah, it's a good show. Speaking of shows, guys, and this is something close to my heart now that I have a daughter. The Wiggles are back. They got back together. They I almost say they reunioned. They reunited. They're back together for the bushfire relief shows, which is absolutely amazing. That's so good. But something that huge news was that Greg, the yellow wiggle, had a heart attack after the show. That's actually insane. Like, imagine if we lost Greg. Like, imagine if we lost Greg at the reunion show, at the end of it. Like, good way to go out. I mean, I guess, like, like, if you know what I mean? Like, good, it's good. I mean, like, it's a good way to go out. Like, if you're a wiggle and you haven't been a wiggle for ages, and then you return for one big final wiggle, like, that's amazing. But so glad that I think there was a nurse or a doctor or someone on site, a young lady. So good that she did that. Like, she absolutely nailed it. And yeah, like, imagine if we lost Greg. Like, I can't even we've replaced so many Wiggles.
Yeah.
We've replaced so many Wiggles, and to actually have to replace a Wiggle for like, because I think when Greg left the Wiggles, I feel like it was because he was sick.
That was the reason why.
Yeah, right. And then to come back, and it makes perfect sense. Like, I mean, if he hasn't been doing that sort of stuff for so long, like he comes back, he's singing, he's dancing, he's hopping around on a hot stage for however long. Yeah, man. Like, unfortunately, there's something's going to happen, and it did. But thankfully, he's all good. And then there was the second show where they had like 6 different people dress up as yellow Wiggles, as like a tribute to Greg. So good. There was like, oh man, what's his name? I can't even think. Simon, the current Red Wiggle, who is like 45 and an opera singer, but has like a smoking hot 31-year-old wife. So congratulations to Simon, mainly for being in the Wiggles. That sounds awesome. But yeah, Simon was dressing up as a yellow Wiggle. Everyone's dressing up. It was so good. Like, what a treat that would have been for like, I just missed like fully appreciating the Wiggles. Like I feel like I was maybe like 10 or so, 10 or 11 when the Wiggles fully broke. And it was like just past my like wanting to watch stuff like that. So I missed it. Yeah, and I loved the Wiggles, appreciated the Wiggles as I got older. And then since having a kid, oh boy, like what an absolute treat the Wiggles are. I've been watching a lot of the Wiggles, right? And my main thing, new purple Wiggle. So purple Wiggle Jeff, always sleeping, all that sort of thing. Replaced by Lockie, younger dude. The old school way of like waking up Jeff, right, was like, so they'd be like they just get the kids to just absolutely go bananas, just be like, wake up Jeff, like just lose their goddamn minds, right? And I saw like on the show the other day is that Lockie is now the one who falls asleep. Obviously, he has the purple shirt, he has the purple what's it called? Turtleneck. Is it turtleneck? Vest. No. What are they called?
I don't know.
I can't even think.
Aren't they just long sleeve shirts?
Yeah, long sleeve shirt. Yeah. Man, I just had a aneurysm. I couldn't even think what words were just then. But yeah, so he's got the purple shirt on now. Skivvy. That's the word. I just clicked at you. Sorry, man. He's got the purple skivvy on, so obviously he's the one that falls asleep now, right? And they woke him up. The guys. They woke him up. They were like, "Wake up, Lockie!" And they like whispered in his ear. And it was because I was wondering what that was all about, right? And it's because people were complaining. Like parents were complaining that the way that they wake up Jeff was causing too much damage to some children's ears. That just sounds, I can see your face, man. Like, it sounds ludicrous. Like, that is, like, just that whole, wake up, Jeff. Like, and there's 1,000 kids who their voices are very, very high on the decibel rating. Yeah, look, it's probably not going to be pleasant. It's like it's like you tip a recycling bin full of glass bottles. Like, that's the noise. But look, you knew the risks, you know what I mean? Like, if you liked the Wiggles, you went to the Wiggles, you knew that at some point Jeff was going to be woken up, he's going to fall asleep, he's probably going to fall asleep a couple of times, maybe they're waking up a couple of times, and the kids were going to go fucking batshit for it. And if parents can't risk that, don't take them, like, you knew the risks. Like, maybe someone would cop an elbow in the face or something in the little Wiggles mosh pit. Or maybe you get a bit of hearing damage because there's 1,000 kids trying to wake up like a narcoleptic Asian man. Like, that's what they're trying to do. But, so the Wiggles have changed. It makes me so sad. My first like major like addiction to the Wiggles was when I used to go and stay with my cousin a lot, and my cousin used to have or she still does. She had 2 kids, or has 3 now, but at the time she had 2 kids. And I was probably 16, 17 at that point. The kids were maybe 7 and 5, something like that. And I was thinking about it the other day, because actually sort of got in a lot of trouble, but also not a lot of trouble for this thing. So basically, there was a neighbourhood sort of gang, but there was one kid that wasn't really part of the gang, but he was always kind of hanging around. And I would go and stay down there all the time, and I'd sort of just hang out with these kids and become kind of like, one of the gang for a week or so every now and then. And I remember this kid, I can't remember exactly what he did to my little cousin. It was something to do with like taking a skateboard or a bike or something, but he pushed my little cousin over. And I remember like just being so angry, right? And I wanted to act out, but I didn't want to. He was maybe 15. I was like 16, 17. I wanted to act out. I didn't want to jeopardize not being able to go back and stay at my cousin's. So what happened is myself and the rest of the little gang, we just happened to be going for a bit of a bushwalk. There's a bit of a nature reserve, right? It's just down near Manly Dam. We're walking through this reserve, and there's a box on the side of the path, and we open up the box, and it's just full of like really wet, damaged porno magazines, but also it had like 10 VHS tapes of like pornographic materials, right? Adult materials. And I made a joke, that we should take them, ha ha ha, like that'd be so funny. Like I probably would have watched them, just for lols, just for a laugh. I wouldn't enjoy them or anything. But so what I did was I actually took one, I hid it. I went back to my cousin's house. I hid it, and then I wrote a note on it that said, "Hey Andy, thanks for letting me borrow this." And then I went and put it on that kid's front doorstep. So that in the hope that his mum or dad, brother, sister would open the door before I did a knock and run essentially, but I did a delivery. I was basically like an Australia postman, but for porn. And I literally walked up, just put it down on the mat, knocked, and I just ran off. And that Andy kid, he got in a lot of trouble. He was not very happy, and then it turned out when we were all hanging out the next day, is that one of the other people in the gang, but one of my gang friends, one of my gang members, he told Andy that I did it. And then Andy told his mum, and then Andy's mum went and told my cousin, and then my cousin, who's pretty cool, thought it was pretty funny, but still told my mum. So my mum got angry. And look, I don't regret it. I don't regret it whatsoever, because for 24 hours there, Andy was like a porn addict, according to his parents. You know what I mean? Like he was dealing it out to the streets. Like he had so much porn that he could literally give it out to the neighborhood children. Like that was just Andy. He had all this porn, and I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I feel like I can generally remember that VHS cover. Like it's so built in up here. It was like black box, obviously, right? And then it's like just two girls kissing, two blonde ladies kissing. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like just like a disgusting like word art font for their names and the name of this movie. And then on the back was just photos of like, not penetration or anything, but like just photos of really inappropriate stuff. And I really hoped first of all, that Andy's mum got a real shock. But then second of all, I hoped that Andy's dad had a real treat. You know what I mean? Like I hope that Andy's dad kept it. I think he would have. So I'm kind of like the Andy I'm actually kind of like the Andy of that town. I was just giving out porn left, right, centre. Man, what a
If the dad did keep it for himself.
he would have, like 100%.
But this is bad, so you should never look at
This is very bad. I'm going to the study. Leave me alone for a little bit. And obviously, you just a couple of minutes later, you just hear him like rewinding the VHS tape, and he's like, "Oh, that was good. Oh, that's good. I'll watch that again." And rewind it back to the start. Do you remember tracking? Do you remember when you used to watch VHS tapes? So you,
Oh yeah.
I used to
All the time.
have the tracking stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that was kind of like buffering for the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Andy's dad, man, he would have absolutely, like you said, just, Andrew, full name, Andrew, this is so bad. And it's like, just going down to the shed for a little bit, unrelated, I'm going to destroy this video. I'm going to smash it. Fuck, he should have got me to do it. I'm so good at smashing those DVDs. But, yeah, man, I love it. I love it. I love thinking about, like, just that's what someone said to me the other day. They were like, well, after they listened to the first episode, they were like, you were so bad. And I was like, nah, it's just like, if you listen to that first episode and now you listen to this episode, so far I've only ever told stories where I'm kind of bad. But that's like, you gotta remember, I'm trying to come to this podcast with like A-game material. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking of some of the baddest stuff. I'm trying to think of some of the funniest stuff. Like, I'm not telling you the mediocre stuff or where just shit stuff happened. Like, I'm not bad. I'm just you get literally any person in here and talk to them, and they've all left a porno on Andy's doorstep, or the equivalent of whatever they needed to do. But yeah, that's so good. Like, I love the memories. I love just looking back, thinking about how I could have ruined Andy's summer, things like that. But I don't like looking back at memories. Facebook memories is an absolute killer for me. Like, it actually, like, you are such a different person. Like, 10 years ago. So I was going through, like, I was sitting down with my family, my extended family on New Year's, and everyone was looking at their memories from 2009, because, end of 2019, 10 years, blah, blah, blah. And, like, people in my family are, like, saying, they're, like, I can't remember any of the particular statuses, but it was, like, excited for the new year or whatever, or blah, and all this stuff. And then my one was, Happy New Year, you hot sluts. Like, that was my status from New Year's Eve 2009, and that's not pointed at any gender. That's just all the hot sluts, man, woman, whatever, animals, just all of them. Just Happy New Year, welcome to the new decade, all of you hot sluts. And I think if there was anything that I had put out there in the world of social media or anything like that, is that is the number one thing that confirms that I am from the Central Coast, like, originally, you know what I mean? Like, just like, yeah. And it had a lot of traction. I think it had 6 likes and maybe 2 comments. And I think one of the comments and one of the likes were from my girlfriend at the time. So she was probably not too happy about me talking to hot sluts, sending out messages to hot sluts. But man, I had a really good Facebook memory pop up the other day, and I wanted to share it, right? So basically, a couple of years ago, I think it was maybe 2014, 2015. One morning I'm going to work, and I stopped to get petrol at a 7-Eleven. I fill up, I go into the petrol station, and there's a young Indian gentleman behind the counter. We have a back and forth, what pump, good morning, all that sort of thing. And then as I go to walk away, he says to me, he's like, oh, sorry, are you going to the station? And I was like, yep, I'm gonna go past there. And he's like, would you mind taking my brother to the station? And I was like, yep, I get like, don't, like, that's just so on the spot. That like, what am I've just literally said, like, I've just literally said I'm going past the station. Like, how can I be like, oh no, like, I don't really want to, or like, I don't know, man, like I have a whole thing about like pulling over to the left. Like, I don't want to pull over at all. I don't want to stop on the side of the road. Like, it's just a fear I have, a bit of a phobia. So no, I can't do that for you, man. But yeah, so he's like, can you take my brother? I'm like, yeah, I guess. And then he just yells out, I can't remember the name. And then just this even smaller, younger Indian man just comes out from the storeroom and just scuttles out, stands next to me and is like, thank you. And I was like, no worries. And then his brother behind the counter was like, this gentleman's going to drop you at the station. So great. And then, so we walk back out to my car and I'm like, oh, that's my car over there, obviously, because he had never met me and was now coming in my car. I was like, yeah, that's mine. That's my car over there. And then he got in the car and the drive was only like 5 minutes, but then we proceeded to have like this really deep chat. That's a lie. We literally said nothing. I tried, like I was trying to be a good Uber driver. But like I had nothing to say to this guy. Like, I think I resorted to, I was like, oh, so you getting the train? Like what an obvious, yeah, he's going to the station. Like he's not, unless he's a junkie of some sort that hangs out at the station. Like he's going to the station to get the train. Like that's just so, what a ludicrous thing to ask someone. Like it's just so straightforward. Like, oh, someone's driving through the McDonald's drive-through. You're like, oh, you're gonna get Macca's, are you? Like, yeah, I reckon that's why I'm here. I'm just hanging out in this drive-through for fun. But so I just like literally dropped this guy off, and then he just scuttles across the road into, I wanted to say into the night, but it was the morning. He just scuttled away and got on the train, lived his life, and I think about that every day. Just what a ballsy thing to do. Like I couldn't imagine in any situation ever being like, just asking any, like when I was growing up, like I worked at a KFC, and at no point was I like, oh man, I don't want to get the train home today, or Dad's not coming to pick me up. Like, oh, there's a family that just ordered some food from me. I'm gonna ask them if I can have a lift. Like, that's just so crazy. Like, such a strange mentality to have, to be like, hey guy that I've just met, that all I know about you at this point is that you buy E10 petrol. Can you drive my dearly beloved younger brother to the train station? You can? Sick. Like, and then be okay with that? Nah, man. Ludicrous. I boycott 7-Eleven. Just that one, to be honest. There's too many of them, and they have all the Krispy Kreme donuts, so I can't boycott them, man. I can't. Oh. But yeah, that's my Facebook memory. Maybe I'll look at a Facebook memory every episode.
Yeah.
And see if I can remember the story. Yeah. Or if it was anything like Happy New Year, you hot sluts, I can just look at myself and be like, fuck, you needed an intervention a long time ago. You are not a good guy. But man, we got a lot of love. We got a lot of love from that first episode. It was good. I don't know why I'm sitting like that. Anyway. But oh man, do you have any Ana Diarmas chat? Has anything happened to Anna?
I haven't actually seen much of it.
I don't think she didn't win the Golden Globe.
No.
I don't think she got nominated for an Oscar.
No, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that new James Bond movie though.
Yes, new James.
This year, right?
Yeah, she's new James Bond girl.
Yeah.
Oh boy, like the sexual chemistry between her and Daniel Craig. Like, that would be... Do you know when... Like, that's a strange thing, because I think it's like... That's a duo where it's like hard for me to pick who I want to be with. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Daniel Craig... Mind you, I think I picture Daniel Craig as James Bond. So, where it's like... He does some questionable stuff, though. Like in that last movie where he just kind of... Was it the last movie or the movie before? I can't remember. Where he just kind of followed a woman to a hotel room and then just like got in the shower with her, and everyone was like, that's fine. That's okay. He's James Bond. That's what he does. And it's like, no, but if I did that, like, I can't even do that at my house with my wife. Like, that's still, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's like... If my wife goes and has a shower and then I'm just randomly, I just hop in behind her and I'm like, hello. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. But no, James Bond can do it. He's 007. But yeah, Anna.
Yeah.
Didn't get an Oscar nom. Knives Out got a sequel though. I saw.
I still need to see that movie.
Still haven't seen it. Man, you got to get on it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But I wonder how they'll do it. One of my friends sent me a message the other day that said, what are they going to call the sequel to Knives Out? Spoons In? And I was like, yeah, fuck, that's great, man. That's great. It made me laugh way too much for something so silly. And yeah, Anna. No Anna chat. No Anna chat this week, really. That's fine, though. That's okay. I'm sure she'll do something. I've got a corporate gig next week. I actually got asked to do another corporate, but it's ages away. And I'm like really tossing up, like a lot of comics talk about on podcasts, like their, you know, corporate gig troubles. And like, I've done a lot of corporate gigs and a lot of my friends have done corporate gigs, and it seems to be the whole, just the money outweighs the mental health. You know what I mean? Like, they're never any good. And I was like trying to think of like my good corporate gig stories. I think I did this corporate gig a little bit ago. It was actually put on by it was like a cancer fundraiser sort of thing, and so the guy's messaging me and he's asking me, you know, if he wants to book me and stuff, and he starts being like, oh, you know, I don't, you know, are you good kind of thing? I just want a funny cunt. Like, that's what I want, which I thought was a hilarious way of booking someone in a professional sense. But then he was saying like, oh, I want someone to have a laugh, like Fletch and Hindy, like from Fox Sports, the two ex-footballers. And it's like, man, that's not... like, you know, they're great. Fletch and Hindy are great, but that's not what a comedian is. Like, two very different things. But I was like, man, if you want Fletch and Hindy, you can have Fletch and Hindy. But it's very different. But anyway, so he books me. I get there. It's upstairs in a leagues club. And we'll go in the room and go up to the guy and sort of introduce myself and have a chat to him. And he's like, yeah, we got 120 people in here. It's going to be pretty good. Like, you know, they've been pretty up for it so far. And I was like, where's the stage? And he was like, just over there. And just points to a microphone on an empty dance floor. And I was like, fuck, all right, great. Good start, that's good. And I said, oh, is there a spotlight? And he was like, no, just the lights of the room. And I was like, it's cool. So it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to see everyone's faces. I want to connect with them. And then in the back corner, with the holy trifecta of every shitty gig is the TAB room. The TAB room, back corner, you got the trots, you got the dogs, you got some of the NRL, you got some of the A-League, I think, was even on, and you've got just a bunch of people that are at this function but still watching all that stuff. And then just as the comedian's about to come up, they make the decision to turn it all off. And that does not go down well at all. They're very unhappy. Some people had some bets on, maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe it was in Dapto or something they had some bets on. That's just where all racing is. But so they turn that all off. The guy goes up and when you get booked for things like that, or when you get booked for gigs, you send through a bit of a bio, you send through a photo. So I sent through a bio, and I just thought this guy would like maybe kind of make up his own little version of that. This next guy is, he's originally from the Central Coast. You might have seen him on the checkout on the ABC. He's just recently sold out a run at the Sydney Comedy Fest. Give it up, Mitch Garling, right? Just easy peasy, but I guess that's the MC in me coming out. This guy, not an MC. And he literally went up and was like, okay, all right, guys, quieten down. We're going to have the comedy. We're going to have the comedian. And then he grabbed his phone and was like, Mitch Garling is you might have seen him on the checkout, the Chaser on ABC. He's just fresh off Sydney Comedy Festival, and he's from the Central Coast. Mitch Garling, everyone, Mitch Garling, and little claps. There's 120 people, and they're all on 95% of them are on those bar stool tables where the tables are kind of high, and then there's 6 bar stools, so they're all kind of high, and then there's a couple of low tables in front. And so I was like, I'm just going to talk to these guys, right? I'm going to go out, I'm going to have some fun. And I went out, I started telling jokes, and then I said I made a comment about you guys must be so pumped that I'm here. The MC guy's pumped that I'm here. He doesn't even know who I am or what I've done. Had to read it off a phone, which got a bit of a laugh, but then I think it got him offside. But that's fine. But I'm doing jokes, having and then at the back of the room, the chatter starts at one table, and then the chatter moves to the next table, and yada yada yada. So at this point, I've just got the tables down the front here. There's maybe 4 or 5 tables that are properly paying attention. I was like, I'll just talk to these guys. These guys are great. They're enjoying it. They're having a good time. You just got to power through. You've got no real light. You just got a mic. You don't have the stage, so you don't have the power of kind of standing over them or anything like that. And I'm standing, and I'm doing all these jokes, and then this guy on a table to the left of me, right of stage, he says, he's like, Jesus, just say something funny. Tell a joke. Like that, and everyone heard it and everyone laughed. And I was like, what's your name, blah blah. I had a bit of a chat to him, and then he was like, you gonna tell any jokes tonight, mate? And I was like, I've been trying, you fucking guys won't listen. And I was like, do you think you could do a better job? Which is literally the dumbest thing you can do as a comic, is give a guy that's already chatting, give him a give him a microphone. So then he was like, yes, I can. And everyone cheered him. And then he walked up to the stage, which was a dance floor, as I mentioned. And he took the microphone from me. And then he proceeded to do a 5-minute bit about a couple in the audience. The husband likes to go fishing and the wife likes to cook, and then he just roasted this couple for 5 minutes, and most of the room knew the couple, so he killed, and he was just killing. And I just sat back. I sat to the side of stage and watched him, and then after maybe 5 minutes I was like, yeah, this is enough. So I went to walk back up, and as I went to walk back up, so did the MC from at the start, and we both got to the guy at the same time, and he handed the mic to the MC, and then the MC looked at me, and I was like, do you want me to keep going? And he goes, no, it's fine, thank you. And then was like, give it up for Mitch. And then no one really clapped. And then he was like, what about Tony? And then everyone clapped for that guy. And then I literally walked to the back of the room, and I met the MC event guy, and he was like, geez, that was rough. And I was like, yeah. And I just handed him an invoice, and then he handed me some cash, and then I was like, thanks, and I left. And then I went out into my car, I went to my car and I called my wife and I was like, I think I'm about to go to jail. She's like, why? I'm like, because I'm going to burn this fucking place to the ground. I'm like, this is literally the worst people. And the most annoying thing is that they had promoted the event that I was coming. And like, I know there was like comments of like, a couple of people like commented to the MC event runner guy being like, oh, that's so sick that you got Mitch. Like, Mitch is great. He's so good, blah, blah, blah. And then that happened. Like, man, corporate gigs. They are a treat. They're an absolute treat. Man, I'm going to talk about some gigs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some corporate gigs or some gigs every week. Oh my God. But far out. Like, that was, yeah. And then I went from there and I had a Zinger burger. I got a Zinger box and I had a Zinger box on the way home. And I had a Zinger box on the way home. I put on some Limp Biscuit and I just angry drove the whole way home. And I just absolutely loved life. So that's, how good's that? Yeah. Oh man, I do like an angry drive where you're like, you're not taking people's lives in danger, but maybe you're taking off at the lights or something a little. Oh man, it's like every teenage dude driving home from a Fast and the Furious movie. It's like, man, I can drift. I can drive under this truck. Oh, we're dead. Anyway, but yeah, I think, yeah, a Fast and Furious death reference, I think, is the way to end the second episode. That's what I reckon. Guys, yeah, Alvin, anything you want to talk about? Paul Blart, I'm going to do some cleanup, to be honest. I'm going to clean up all this stuff here. I've really messed that up.
Nothing that I can think of.
Beautiful. Always good to chat. Now, guys, thanks for coming and checking out the second episode. Hope you liked it. Hope you liked the first episode. Hope you like me. Please like me. But yeah, jump on. I'm on the socials at Mitch Garling on Facebook and Instagram, at Snitch Garling on Twitter. And jump on the, give us a like or a subscribe or whatever it is these days. Bloody kids on YouTube. Leave comments. Tell me if you like my shirt. Tell me if you like me. And just Happy New Year, you hot sluts. I'm never going to say that again. But guys, thanks for checking out the second episode. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Everybody's coming down, wow, wow, wow.